A Bitcoin break back to all-time highs and beyond could be just hours away. According to these charts and the data that I'm going to share in this video, we could be experiencing a very exciting move very shortly. And this is also huge for the altcoins, because if Bitcoin re-challenges that all-time high and breaks beyond, because it moves us along the Wall Street cheat sheet into the belief phase, and that is going to signal an altcoin season. Hit that like button. Let's find out what's going to move. Now, guys, every piece of data that you could possibly be looking at right now is stacking towards a very exciting move coming in Bitcoin. While everyone is not really paying attention because it's been damn bloody boring over the last few months, I'm sure you're aware, with zero volatility pretty much in crypto, things are now starting to look good. Now, we can see exchange balances, the orange line. When you have lots of Bitcoin sat on the exchanges, it means that people are looking to sell it. If they want to buy it and hold it, they're going to buy it, they're going to take it off the exchange. Therefore, when this is driving towards the downside as the price is moving up, it can be incredibly bullish. And this, as you can see, is happening very quickly. We're seeing a very fast dip in the exchange balances right now, which is adding stability to Bitcoin. Now, I've shared you these things time and time again from the Scalping Pro, like this chart here, where he's basically showing the similarities that have happened over and over again throughout the bull markets. And this basically shows the two uncertainty dips, one from the start of 2017, and then one from the bull market as we moved into 2021. And in both of these scenarios, you could see the upside that is about to happen for Bitcoin. And it's not just Bitcoin. As we look at this from El Crypto Prof, who again we've been looking at quite a lot on the channel, because basically he's been able to completely remove the emotions from all of it, unlike most people out there, and that's allowed him to identify that we are basically at the forefront, potentially up 6 months of green candles. And you know what? Just like you shouldn't be relying just on me to give you the information, you should be doing your own research as well. I'm not going to rely on all the information that I've been given by everyone else, because a lot of people can be wrong. So I can take their information with a pinch of salt and then do my own workings. Now, as we look into the Bitcoin chart, we can see that we are running into this significant high. And just for ease of use, I'm going to make it red. This significant high, you could see what happened last time we were in this area. We got sold off. But something very different is happening now that we are back into this zone, and it's got me feeling a little bit more on the bullish side. As you can see, we came up into here a few days ago and we had a very strong push in. And then we had like a couple of rejection candles. And now today we're seeing a further push back into this zone. If it wasn't for this, I would be anticipating a further dip towards the downside. But this buying pressure that's going on into this zone area right now couldn't be more exciting. And if we look at this from a 1 hour time perspective, okay, and this is why I think that by the time this video goes live, hopefully the editor is going to be very fast working on this so that we can get it out to you before this break happens. We can see that these highs are creeping up, okay? Higher lows each time. We're pushing against this area. As soon as this area breaches, then we're going to start to send this price into all of the stop losses of all the little bears out there who've been licking their lips for a big dip for the last few weeks and are probably panicking because they were expecting it to roll over here, but it never did. They're now pretty much nearly at the verge of getting liquidated. Their liquidation points sit around here. Eventually, they're all going to get liquidated, and then Bitcoin will surge and rally up through this. Around 67,700, there is a big area of liquidity, okay? We didn't quite get there last time. If we're getting there again, I think we could squeeze aggressively up. Now, you can see USDT dominance. This is an incredibly important chart and has allowed me to be able to identify where we're going to see pumps and dumps throughout this market. And as you can see, we've been in this uptrend, and you can see we've had a stiff move here. This very big bearish candle, okay, indicates a shift in momentum. There's one here, but then this gets confirmed again. We break this, we come back, we retest, we find resistance in this area, which was previous support, and I think this is going to roll over. It could well happen in the hours to come, today, maybe into tomorrow, that we see a USDT sell-off down towards this zone, and that's going to see Bitcoin and crypto having a very sharp, quick push. And if you're patient, I'm going to tell you very shortly which coins are going to be moving with Bitcoin first. And actually, it's pretty bloody obvious, okay? But stick with me. Now, why we actually haven't yet seen the most explosive phase is this. This is crypto apps ranking on the App Store in the US. And you're like, what the hell does this have to do with anything, okay? Get back to the charts. Tell me where Bitcoin's going to go. Tell me I'm going to be rich. Patience, my friend. Basically, this crypto ranking app tells us how many retail investors are looking to buy crypto right now. If you're all actively downloading crypto apps, that means there's lots more retail investors in the markets. That is very much indicative of a higher area of the market than we're currently at, because you can see this was basically a dip, a big sell-off down from Q1 of this year. We don't tend to see the tops of markets after this significant cool off. We see the tops of markets when everyone's going crazy trying to buy this and that and, you know, aping into everything. And we haven't really seen that yet, have we? Now, I want to ask you a quick question. How are you feeling about crypto right now? And it's a serious question because you represent the market. Personally, I'm feeling a little bit on the optimistic side. Bitcoin looking pretty positive. But am I 100% sure right now that Bitcoin's going to be bursting towards all-time highs? I'm pretty confident, but I wouldn't say 100% sure. Let's say 90 to 95%, which indicates to me that I'm probably in the optimistic phase of this Wall Street cheat sheet. Let me just point out where that is for you, and then you'll understand that once we leave this optimism phase, we move into the belief phase. The belief phase is where altcoin seasons come from. And that's because during optimism, people are like pretty positive about where the market's going, but they can't really trust themselves to go all in on those kind of crazy altcoins and things out there. And that means that if Bitcoin does have another surge back to all-time highs, people are going to suddenly gain the conviction that this time is the time. They're going to start to ape into altcoins. They're going to take profits from Bitcoin if Bitcoin breaks that high, and then they're going to move it into more speculative plays down the risk curve. And another confirmation of that, guys, is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Okay, as you can see, the Ethereum chart is basically dipping way under these previous support levels. Okay, we anticipated we might find a bounce here. We did, and then we got sold off once more, faked out. And as we continue towards lower lows, we can start to look and find a buy zone somewhere in here. How do we do it? We drop down to the daily time frame. Okay, and this allows us to maybe draw some buy zones on here. Let's just delete all this old stuff, all this old mess. And hopefully this lines up, because as with everything I do, I haven't planned this. So yeah, let's hope it goes nicely according to plans. So basically what we've done is we found an area where we can see a big move coming from Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Okay, you can see this indicates there was big buying pressure during this period of time. Okay, when Ethereum is bullish against Bitcoin, it means altcoin seasons are with us. Okay, so this is a very key area of a buy zone that we could drag across and see whether or not we get a nice line up. Let's do it. Bring it all the way across, and you can see that we are actually now dipping it down below this buy zone. So yes, that's a bit of an annoying one, isn't it? Because it didn't quite line up perfectly. But if we go back again, you can see that below the first buy zone, we have another sideways piece of time. You can see just below this buy zone lives another bit of sideways action where we have potential for another buy zone, which we could drop into here. There's also another one under here. So if this second one breaks, then, you know, we could anticipate that maybe this is the next one we need to look at. If Ethereum Bitcoin is able to bounce somewhere in this zone, and you can see it's currently bouncing off this lower end of this particular trend line, if we see the Ethereum price suddenly having a push out of here and something like this happens, this is the altcoin season. And yes, I've told you this a few times already, haven't I? And you're like, oh, I bought into this and you told me to buy it and it hasn't worked how I thought it would. Well, first things first, I never told you to buy anything, and we have to predict that an altcoin season is possible. Also, when it comes to coins, if you ever feel sad and you feel like someone else has convinced you to do something in crypto that you didn't want to do, you basically need to grow up, because if you blindly buy something and it goes down and you're not prepared to ride that downward move because you haven't done your research or understood why that project's such a good one, even if the price is down in the short term, then that's on you. And no one's going to come and wipe away your tears and give you a cuddle if you lose all your money. So it's down to you to grow up, do your own research, and only invest in coins that you yourself are bullish about. Okay? Let's get on with it. So let's anticipate if Bitcoin does pump in this area and we get an altcoin season to follow, which are the altcoins that are going to go with it? Well, guys, it's pretty obvious, okay? These are the coins that are going to pump if Bitcoin runs. How do I find them? Well, look, Bitcoin's been running quite warm over the last, 2 weeks, okay? Over the last 2 weeks, if we go for a weekly chart, 2 weeks of solid greenery for Bitcoin. During this very uninteresting period of time, there has been some coins that have been working their magic, growing in strength. Solana is one of them, okay? Now, I don't think that you're going to see enormous upside, okay? You're not going to see necessarily 10x from this, okay? Because it's already seen good growth, but there's a good chance you see a solid 4 or 5x. You're also going to see Solana being likely a first mover when Bitcoin gets going again. We've also seen TON being pretty strong. Again, these are bigger market cap coins, and I know you don't necessarily like to see that, but there's something that all of these coins have in common, and you can use this to find smaller market cap coins. They are all generating real revenue, okay? They're all actually gaining users. Ton now has something like $200 million total value locked. Solana obviously being very actively used, particularly for meme coin trading, but into the future likely NFTs and stuff like that. Ondo has also been performing very strongly. Now I know lots of these coins are really already very high up. I do think that they will see likely a bit more increase, and as Bitcoin continues to run hot before Bitcoin stalls, and it will stall during the main altcoin season, these coins could be running hot with Bitcoin for a while. I'll then take the profits from the likes of Solana, etc., and move them into sort of smaller cap coins. Again, AOS, DPIN running very hot as we anticipate pretty much through the year, and various others. But really, where does Bitcoin go from here? I hear you cry. Well, very simply, one thing we could do would be to take Fibonacci from the previous swing high and drop it down to this low here. Now, the 1.618 you can see comes in up here. This is the Fibonacci sequence golden ratio number, okay? 1.618. And this is really important because I want to show you something that lines up very nicely, okay? And it's this. You can take from this swing here all the way through all of these, all right? And that 1.618 would be, for me, a fairly natural swing high for where Bitcoin is going next, okay? And if we run a line across these kind of highs, excluding the wicks, okay, where the actual kind of weekly closes were for Bitcoin, and we swing it all the way across here, then you can see that this doesn't come too far away from the 1.618. So somewhere in between the sort of 80 to 90k, I can see potentially being the price for Bitcoin in the coming 1 to 2 months. I don't think that we're going to go straight up beyond there to 100k. We could well see a significant pullback after this period of time, back to retest these kind of highs before. Now I want to bring up something that's been brought to my attention over the last kind of week or so, and it's a project called BVM, a project that I continue to be very bullish on, and one that I've talked about recently a few different times. However, recently there was a bit of a mess made of things with BVM, and I'm super bullish on BVM because it's one of those projects that's actually actively increasing its revenue. But more recently, a project called Eternal AI launched on their platform. They messed around with the liquidity and people felt like they'd been rug pulled. Even though it wasn't a rug pull, it was a bit of a mess, okay? And because this platform was launched on BVM, it didn't look particularly good for BVM. And I'm going to be honest, I'm quite heavily invested in BVM, and this drop towards the downside, it did hit me pretty hard. And I made no apologies for it because I know the risks. I invested because I thought it was a good project, and I still think it is a good project, but when there's bad news like this coming out, it's obviously going to hit me pretty hard. And if you're blindly buying and suddenly you wake up one morning, then you're probably going to see the price down, and you're going to be like, oh, Peter told me to buy this. Firstly, remember, didn't tell you to buy anything, you bought. And if you hadn't done your research, you'll be panicking about this. I was also panicking about it, even though I'd researched it and I was pretty bullish on it. And then I remembered something that made me think, actually, you know what? Have a deep breath, things are okay. As the price plummeted down to around 1.452, which is horrific, unfortunately we're now back up around 25% since then, I realized that Solana was basically being called a scam by everyone. Everyone hated Solana because of what happened with FTX, and there was a bit of a mess that was made there. And also downtimes, hacks, and all these other things. There's been a handful of projects throughout the history of crypto who have been through these kind of periods of scam stories and then absolutely bounced back. And when it comes to projects, if you've done your own research, okay, and you believe in that project and everything they're doing, then actually a bit of FUD and stuff can be scary, but it is just that. And remember Warren Buffett when he says, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. So in general, things are looking positive. We're excited. And when things finally start to pop, we're going to be ready for it. What have I been buying recently? Well, I've been continually telling you in the videos I've been making recently. So make sure you subscribe because tomorrow, no, that's a lie. Wednesday, today's Monday, Wednesday, we're probably going to do a live stream. And on Wednesday, when I do that live stream, I'm going to be talking about some of the smaller cap coins that I've got my eye on for after when we get that pump in the markets. I'm also going to get into more depth about BVM because I know many people are curious to learn more about what's happened recently, about the recent FUD around this project, but I've remained calm and I've been doing the Warren Buffett thing of being greedy while others out there are fearful. And if you want to pick up coins like BVM, there are massive discounts thanks to recent events and FUD, and you want to do it on an exchange that doesn't have KYC, that doesn't need a VPN, no matter where you are in the world, then make sure you sign up for Bitunix, link down below. We've just managed to get Arweave listed on there. They've listed AIOZ, they listed Render. Every coin I'm basically asking them to list at the moment is getting listed within 24 to 48 hours. So if you want coins to get listed on Bitunix, make sure you shout them out down below. I'll then go straight across to Bitunix and ask. If you join through the link down below in the description, you'll also qualify for future airdrops for some of those different tokens. And also, you'll be entered into competitions to win other prizes with this special partnership that the House of Crypto has with Bitget. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Hit the like button. I'm going to be bringing you something very exciting later on in the week. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.